Have you ever found yourself wondering if moving into a nursing home might be the safest or most sensible option? Maybe you've looked around your home and thought, is this getting too hard to manage on my own? If so, you're not alone, and you're certainly not wrong for asking that question. But before you pack your bags or help a loved one sign those admission papers, you need to hear what often gets left unsaid. This video isn't here to scare you, but it will open your eyes. Because while some people thrive in senior living facilities, others face unexpected challenges that don't show up in the brochures or the sales tours. And once you're in, getting out can be harder than you think. So today, we're going to uncover a few of those hard truths, the ones no one really talks about until it's too late. Stay with us until the end of this video, because some of these insights may surprise you, and they might just help you make one of the most important decisions of your life. Let's get started. Truth number 1. It's not just the move. It's what you leave behind. One of the first shocks that hits most people after moving into a nursing home isn't about the food or the schedule. It's about loss, not just of a house or furniture, but of identity. That cozy chair you always sat in, the morning light through your kitchen window, even the scent of your own laundry detergent. All those little things that make life feel personal suddenly disappear. You step into a space that might be clean and functional, but it's not yours. And even if you bring photos or a favorite blanket, the room can feel like a hotel where you've overstayed your welcome. This isn't just emotional, it's psychological. Studies show that seniors who feel a loss of autonomy or familiarity are more likely to experience anxiety, confusion, and even a decline in physical health. Because when your surroundings change drastically, it sends a message to your brain. You're no longer in control, and that's a heavy weight to carry. Truth number 2, the schedule owns you. Not the other way around. At home, if you want breakfast at 10 a.m., you have it. If you feel like staying up late or skipping lunch, you can. But in a nursing home, routines are often designed for efficiency, not individuality. Meals are served at set times. Medications come on a strict schedule. Even baths and laundry happen when staff availability allows, not when you actually need them. Now, structure can be helpful, but for many older adults, this shift feels more like being managed than being supported. One viewer told us it felt like boarding school for grown-ups, not because the care wasn't there, but because the choice wasn't. And here's the deeper issue. When small decisions are taken out of your hands, your confidence can start to erode. You begin to doubt your own capabilities, not because you failed, but because the environment treats you as if you have. If these first 2 truths are hitting home, you're not alone. Many people walk into a nursing home expecting relief and end up feeling invisible. But the story doesn't end here. We've got more to uncover, and some of it might change the way you look at aging altogether. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, comment the number 1 below to let me know you're here. Your support means a lot. It helps us keep creating real, honest content for people who care deeply about living well and aging wisely. And if you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a chance to protect your future. Now that we've covered the emotional cost of leaving home and the reality of structured living, let's move into what happens behind the scenes, where care doesn't always feel as caring as you'd expect. Now that we've talked about the emotional shock of leaving home and the rigid routines that often come with facility life, let's go deeper into the parts of nursing home living that many people don't realize until they're already living them. Because on paper, these places are supposed to offer safety, care, and community. But what's on paper doesn't always reflect what happens day to day. Let's talk about it. Truth number 3, you're not a person, you're a chart. This one is tough to hear and tougher to experience. When you're in a nursing home, your name, your story, your memories, these things take a back seat. What rises to the surface? Your medications, your diagnoses, your daily care checklist. Staff members often work long shifts with too many residents and too little time. They're not trying to be cold, but they're stretched thin. And so you become an item in a workflow. Room 204 needs help dressing. 204 needs their pills. 204's family is calling. You're no longer Mr. Harris who worked as a carpenter for 40 years, or Nancy who bakes the best cinnamon rolls. You're the blood pressure reading on a clipboard. And if you've always been proud of your independence, that shift can feel like a gut punch. Even when staff are kind, it's easy to feel like you're being managed more than cared for. Decisions get made without your input. Requests get delayed or forgotten. You wait and wait because someone else's schedule controls your day. And over time, that can take the spark out of anyone. Truth number 4. The community isn't always comforting when people imagine nursing homes. They often picture friendly chats, shared activities, and companionship. But the reality isn't always so rosy. Yes, there are game nights and social rooms, but many residents struggle with cognitive decline, depression, or physical limitations that make deep connection difficult. Conversations are often shallow or repetitive. People forget your name or you forget theirs, and sometimes those around you are too withdrawn to talk at all. It's possible to be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. One woman we spoke to said it felt like living in a waiting room where no one knows how long they'll be waiting. That kind of loneliness can creep in quietly, but its effects are loud. Studies have linked this type of isolation to increased risk of dementia, faster physical decline, and shorter life expectancy. What's worse, you might start to feel like you're disappearing, like your world is shrinking while life outside the facility keeps moving on without you. But here's the good news. You have options, and knowing these truths doesn't mean you have to fear the future. It means you're informed, prepared, and better equipped to make the right choice for yourself or someone you love. If this tip struck a chord and you're finding this helpful, please comment number 3 below. It means so much to know someone like you is listening, learning, and caring deeply about their health, independence, and dignity. If you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe and hit the like button. This channel exists for people like you who believe in living well and aging wisely. Let's continue now, because the next truth we're going to cover is perhaps the hardest to witness. Not what happens to you, but what you start to see happening around you, and how that can change your perspective on everything. Now that we've talked about the emotional disconnection and the loss of autonomy many experience inside a nursing home, it's time to talk about what happens when you're not just living through it, but witnessing it happen to others. This part is raw, because it's not just about your routine or your room anymore. It's about what you begin to notice in the faces of those around you, what you can't unsee. Truth 5. You witness decline every day, and it changes you. No one tells you what it's like to see the person in the room next to yours slowly stop showing up to meals, or how it feels when someone you've bonded with doesn't recognize you anymore. You don't get warned about the quiet fear that starts building when you hear the staff say, "She's not doing so well," about someone you just laughed with the day before. Living in a nursing home means confronting decline daily. And while it's part of life, we all age, we all face health challenges. It hits differently when it's happening just down the hall. Sometimes it feels like you're waiting your turn. One resident described it this way: "It's like watching people fade and you can't stop it, and you wonder if you're next." That kind of emotional exposure can wear on even the most resilient. It leads to more introspection, yes, but it can also cause emotional fatigue. You start bracing for loss. You stop investing in relationships because you're scared of watching another friend disappear. Truth number 6. Families visit less than you'd expect. When someone moves into a nursing home, there's usually a wave of visits. Family, friends, maybe even neighbors who want to offer support. But over time, those visits often slow down. Sometimes they stop altogether. It's not always intentional. Life outside the facility keeps going. Children have jobs, grandchildren grow up, routines get busy, and driving out every weekend becomes less feasible. But for the person sitting by the window waiting for someone to walk through the door, each missed visit leaves a mark. There's nothing more heartbreaking than watching someone scan the hallway every Sunday afternoon. hoping this will be the day someone comes. And when they don't, a little bit of hope slips away. Even phone calls become fewer. Texts go unanswered. Birthdays get missed. One man told us, "I used to be the center of our family. Now I'm the side note." That quiet loneliness, being surrounded by people yet forgotten by the ones who matter most, is one of the hardest truths about nursing home life. And it's one few people talk about openly, but it's real, and it hurts. Here's the thing. None of this means nursing homes are inherently bad. Some provide incredible care, loving communities, and real safety. But if you're considering the move, or helping someone else decide, you need to walk in with open eyes. And if you've made it this far, you're clearly someone who cares. Please comment the number 5 below to let me know you're still with us. It means so much to know this message is reaching people who are thinking deeply about their choices. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more life-changing tips on aging wisely, staying independent, and making the best choices for your future. Because in the final part of this video, we're going to bring everything together. The most practical advice, the things you can still do to avoid these traps, and a powerful message of hope for anyone who's feeling stuck between fear and a decision. Let's finish strong. You've stayed with us through the hardest parts, the emotional toll of leaving your home, the loss of control over your daily life, the loneliness that creeps in, and the quiet heartbreak of being forgotten. If any of that stirred something in you, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not powerless, because while these truths are hard, they're not meant to scare you. They're meant to prepare you. And that's exactly where we'll close today, with clarity, strength, and choices. Let's talk about what you can do before ever signing that paperwork. Truth number 7. You might have more options than you think. Here's the reality many families don't realize. Moving into a nursing home isn't the only option. In fact, it's often the last resort when people don't know what else is out there. Let's break that myth wide open. Home care support has come a long way in recent years. There are licensed caregivers who can assist with everything from cooking and bathing to medication reminders and mobility. And the cost? Often less than a nursing home, especially if you only need part-time help. There are also community-based programs like adult day centers, which offer meals, social interaction, and medical support during the day, while you still sleep in your own bed at night. Some areas even have village-style aging networks, where neighbors pitch in to support each other with errands, rides, or small household tasks. And if you're relatively independent but just want to downsize or be near others your age, independent. Senior living communities offer private apartments, social activities, and optional meal services, without the strict structure of a nursing home. The point is this: you have choices. But you have to know they exist, and you have to be willing to ask the right questions. Truth number 8, your voice still matters. Use it before it's too late. If there's one truth that ties everything together, it's this: you must advocate for yourself before others make the decisions for you. It's easy to slip into a mindset of, "I don't want to be a burden," or "they'll figure it out for me." But here's the problem. If you don't speak up about what you want, you might end up somewhere you never imagined, living a life you never chose. That's why it's crucial to have these conversations early, while you still feel strong, sharp, and clear. Talk to your children, write down your wishes, research your local services. Ask, what will support look like for me in 5 years, 10? Because if you wait until a fall, a medical scare, or a rushed hospital discharge, your options will narrow. And that's when most people get funneled into the nearest available bed, not the best possible life. And you deserve better than that. So here's what I want you to take away from this video. Yes, aging brings change. Yes, some support will eventually be needed. But no, you don't have to give up your freedom, your identity, or your happiness to stay safe. You just need to plan and to speak up, and to believe that your later years can still be deeply meaningful. Thank you for joining us today. I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Reading your stories keeps this channel going. It motivates and inspires not just us, but the entire community. If you found value in today's message, please like this video, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next one. Your support helps us create honest, empowering content for people like you, who want to live fully, age wisely, and never settle for less. Remember, you still have choices, you still have power, and your story isn't over. It's just getting started. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe, stay curious, and stay hopeful.